Greetings. Okay, this might be a little. It's not gonna be for everybody. So this is. Yeah, I have to admit, this has been a. I mean, how do I? I've talked about this before, so I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into another version of Earth, a Batman reality. One that I've been getting more indication of little by little. It's kind of like an open wound, uh, or something like that. So to give you a little bit of a, I think I may have, let me post this. Gotham City. So to give this Batman, the more this is the '89, this is the movie one. This is where the one I really seem to connect to the most. Of course, you have the comics. Obviously, he can move his head around a little bit easier. To give you an idea, and the Bruce Wayne is similar to this one. Not exactly, but it's more similar to this one than the Michael Keaton one. So you got that Bruce Wayne and you got that Batman. Now I have to say the Batman Begins. This is like a sissy Batman. It's like he's always crying about his parents. But it wasn't, and there's all different kinds of versions of Batman. Uh, there's a all kind. And this one's the funny one, obviously. And I think Adam West was the actual Batman from another Earth too. I mean, that guy just hammed it up. It's like it's just great. And that's his son. And this is what just screwball is basically. It's like freaking hilarious. And that kind of lightened things up. But to go now, I believe so where it comes down to is Gotham City. Of why I don't have the full details. I'm gonna make another one of these when it's probably dark out because it kind of goes with the grimminess of it. But it's it all comes down to Gotham City. It was basically like just slumlord, worse than New York City. I mean, you can look at it different ways. It's kind of like Chicago and New York City combined. It's just a nightmare city altogether. The villains are like terrorists, and just the crime was just horrific. So to give you a different, because I don't think this is really mentioned in the movies at all. Actually, sort of. The Batman Begins kind of went into it. Crime is just so bad that you need somebody to come in, kind of like an archangel, to scare the hell out of the criminals. So to give you a little bit, I saw a thing on this recently. Before Batman, before it was created in the 1930s, there was the Shadow. And Batman took a lot of stuff from the Shadow. So there was a world of the Shadow. The Shadow guy's rich, he has a secret identity, fights crime, but only different. And even Batman used guns in the beginning. He actually stole a story. The first story of Batman was stolen from the Shadow. I just happened to see that right before I made this video. It's like, they copied it from page to page. It was exactly the same thing. So, you have the rich playboy, and he goes and fights crime at night. It's all a Shadow, but that's from another version of Earth. And to go back to Gotham City, so Gotham was just like hell on earth, basically. So they need somebody to come in and scare the hell out of everyone. So that was the reason for the bat. It wasn't to be weird. It was to scare the crap out of the villains, like a phantom. And most people do not believe this Batman even existed. It's kind of like channeling in some regard. People don't believe in it. They look away. Channeling has a lot of similarities to all this. But for Batman was like a phantom. Most people do not believe he existed until they saw it. People just, unless you ran into it, of course he had his fans, but obviously more foes. Basically, now you have this, when he showed up, it scared the crap out of the criminals. They didn't know what the hell it was. Of course, then it became who can kick his ass, who can stop him. So that became a problem. So it's like an adrenaline incarnation. It's just you're just constantly going. And now the villains, and this is the Joker that I pick up. This to me this is terrifying. It's like became more psychotic, you could say. Well, it showed a different side. It brought him. You can say the Batman when he showed up got the criminals to dress up, so they're easier to find. But they were like terrorists. When you even look at the comics, they're pretty much terrorists. And to give you, whoops, that's not it. Yeah, the Riddler. To me, the Riddler is still one of the biggest pain in the asses. One of them at least. But Joker, of course. So I give you a story on this. Obviously, yeah, there was Catwoman, and that was positive and light, dark and light, back and forth, back and forth. But even the comics, they it just went back and forth between the bat. So so it's just the way it's been. Let's see. With the Joker, though, from my experience of it, from what I picked, there was see what happened. Joker got killed, and there was copycat Jokers, and one of them was a female, not like that. But I'm not sure if they're going to have that. But there is I guess you could use that for example. I don't know, even no. But anyway, there was a female Joker, and this was somebody that was connected to Bruce Wayne, that knew him, who didn't know who he was, but they kind of figured it out when they were battling it out. And that was kind of like a messed up, because she knew who he was too. So that would make an interesting story. That's the one I'm picking up on, and it was heart-wrenching, you can say. So it was a close relationship, then they disconnected, and then she became like a Joker type of character. So but yeah, it's obviously there's different versions of Earth, but this is definitely one. So yeah, it all comes down to the city, really. Why a figure like this is even needed is because the criminals basically just they're theater. They just lost their minds basically. So they just brought all their darkness out, and Batman was pretty much like a meta-human, or a what do you call it? Was it a meta-human? I forgot the name of it, but anyway, just kind of like a super soldier. And you have to be to do stuff like that. You can't just be normal. You have to be a little bit more upgraded to your average human. So, and when he did show up, it scared the hell out of everyone. And of course, after a while, that weighs down. But it was never really about the parents dying. I mean, it was, but that was like the trigger to go out and fight crime. But yeah, obviously the parents thing was a part of it, but that wasn't the main drive. The main drive was to stop the criminals there, just to stop. And it was just one thing after the other, just one dark thing after the other. I don't feel, he fought. I forgot. Was it Bane? I don't know if I don't remember. I don't remember the story going exactly. I don't remember fighting something like that, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, this Batman's kind of, from the Rise is kind of like a, kind of a baby in some regard. So it's but yeah, I grew up watching this one, and it's kind of funny. And I got little things throughout life, and it's like, nah, that can't be true. But the more I look into it, the more I see it. It's like, Like that, that scene resonates pretty strongly. You bring somebody to your weird cave, you're walking around with a bat costume. Just, yeah, you don't have any problems. So, yeah, the car that had to be, is it, yeah, the car had to be, I was trying to tap into that a little bit. I believe it was like bought from other manufacturers and customized. Um, Now how that went, I think it pretty much had to be auto mechanic too. Yeah, not on everything, but basically fixing the basics of it. Doesn't mean it looked like that, but it looked like something. I don't know what it looked like, but it doesn't really matter. But even the car had to be intimidating. Everything had to be intimidating. It had to be all scary to scare the criminals. That was the whole point of all of it. Be something weird. It's like, not, you have to be like supernatural. That's what it was all about. Like I said, the criminals there are nothing like in this reality. I mean, it's like you take the terrorists from, yeah. So you take the terrorists from Afghanistan, and you put them in a city that's kind of like New York City, and you make the city a lot bigger. Of course, New York City, pretty big, but yeah, you put all the buildings everywhere. And you just like a nightmare scenario, technically, in some regard. People have positives to it, but there's a lot of darkness. But there's really nowhere else to go. It's like that's the one of the main places to get a job. Problem is you might die or whatever the hell it is. So it was like a seedy place, but it's why incarnate in some place like that for your own growth to help others. Like I said, it was like a roller coaster ride. It was a high adrenaline lifetime. You're always on, you're spying, you're doing this, you're doing that, looking for criminals all day. Yeah, sitting in your bat cave, like kind of like what I got in some regard. And you're alone, just monitoring things. Um, yeah, it's and even with I'm trying to tap into some of it, the Commissioner Gordon and all that. I believe a lot of that was obviously there's other people that have been different Batmans, different. I believe it had more of the Rose Gallery. I think it was one of the earlier ones. Not too early. That was the other thing. It was like a myth of it. It was like a myth of it was like mythical creatures or something like that. Which like mythical beings that were already kind of roaming around, people heard of. So a guy walking around in a bat costume was pretty much part of the myth in some regard, meaning that there was a weird stuff going on, and that kind of made sense in some cases. I know it sounds weird, but it's really it's just. I mean, it did have like a Killer Croc type of character. It had like supernatural type of beings. So that's it had that. So basically, the criminals, were basically terrorist energies, and they just started wearing crazy circus costumes, basically. And they made him even more crazy, you can say, but it brought him out. It brought him out of the darkness, so you can see them. So there was already, it's. I mean, I think there was a joke that like Jerry Seinfeld said, like at least you're like you fight like five people. Problem is, all those five people are terrorists and all freaking nuts, and there's not more than just five. So obviously, there's different versions of Batman and all that. And that was the thing. I felt like I'm not 100% sure on all this. Like started in 30, like 30 years old, went 10 years, and then stopped. But I can't be 100%. I don't know. It was something like that. I mean, how long can you do that? I mean, obviously, there's some that can go into your old age, but you do it for 10 years, and then you disappear. I do remember uh, energies that come in. It's like you got injured, and you disappeared for a reason because you're fucked up. It's like, yeah, you got a major injury. You just got, there was an Alfred too, and um, now was he connected to the army and all that? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Obviously, there's different versions of all of this. I didn't have like a Lucius Fox, a guy fixing the Batmobile and getting all his gadgets and all of that. I think I had to figure it all for myself. The mechanics of it. You just bought stuff secretly, and you customized everything. You figured something out. I think there was like a mechanic or somebody somewhere. I don't know. That's kind of a mystery. I think I had to do a lot of stuff on my own from what I'm gathering. Yeah, it's like, especially when you're fighting crime, beating the shit out of everybody. You need to, you can scan and look at this computer all day, but working on a car kind of helps you heal. And I grew up around cars being fixed. I never fixed them myself. I was never into it. Probably gonna get freaking sick of it. Yeah, I grew up. I mean, I could have learned how to do it. I just wasn't interested in it. This as well. But yeah, I believe it was. I was doing a lot of. I could feel that I was fixing cars just to go out of aggression. Just like, it's like just go fix the car and just, I'm losing my freaking mind. Yeah, it was, Catwoman was driving me freaking nuts. She's good, she's bad. Can't figure that out. Nobody can figure it out. One day she's good, next day she's kicking somebody's ass. It's like, I don't know. So it was, yeah, the female Joker was like a mind twister. It's like somebody you care about and just turns like into a vicious like killer basically. I don't know where that went. I do know it's like somewhere Joker did get killed in this world, and obviously there's outcry about it. So I feel like it went for 10 years, but it probably started back up later, but definitely went on for 10 years. It's like, how long do you need to do this? You already put the energy out. There was no Robin. I don't feel like Robin. There might have been a Nightwing, but that wasn't like, you go and you take, I take it orphan and all of that. No, there wasn't none of that. It was just a Nightwing person. That was it. That was got inspired by the Batman. So yeah, I have like I had a car. It was kind of like the Batmobile in some regard. When I got in a car, it was kind of dark. So I felt like the Batmobile was like, why would you think that? You think of anything else, he's off that. So Uncle had a 2-story house. It was kind of old, like a fixer-upper. I was there by myself, felt like it was Wayne Manor. He's like, jeez, I was just a kid. Why would I think my parents are dead and I'm in this house? It's like, why would I think that? It's just, what am I thinking? So I had little things here and there. So it just triggered memories. And recently I had more of a memory. Recently, or a couple months ago, I had a understanding of it, and then I had an understanding of it again. So I've been kind of pushing this away a lot. It's like, this is just fucking crazy. So it's another version of Earth. There's all 100 different versions of everything. Of Batman, of Julius Caesar, of whatever it is. It's just been a fucking nightmare. I feel like it was a full adrenaline lifetime. It's like you're on a roller coaster and you're off to the races. And it's like, you can die. Chances of that were pretty high. But I wouldn't say it was a great ride, but it was a ride. It was something that was necessary for that version of Earth. I don't think there was a New York City. I think it was just a Gotham City. I don't know if it was Statue of Liberty. I don't know. I think there's versions of it where there were a Statue of Liberty. I just know it was a large city. It was a cesspool. Like New York City, but 10 times worse. It wasn't horrible. Not everybody's going to get abused and all that, but it was pretty high. But it wasn't that everybody's going to go through some kind of abuse. But yeah, it was. Of course, then you have the Superman realities. I can go into that. That was a lot lighter. Of course, you're just destroying half the place, but that's different versions of it. That's the one that triggered all this. That's right. I had the dream months ago of Superman, and I asked a friend about it. And said, "Yeah, you're a Batman too." It's like I've been kind of learning about this whole Batman thing for a while. So yeah, and the Bruce Wayne was not taken seriously, nonchalant, kind of goofy, just not seeing all that exciting. Yeah, you're wealthy around, gorgeous people, but you don't seem like you're that type of person to be like that. Like you're making the family you look bad because you're just, living a rich lifestyle. The whole point was, to be a rich asshole. They had to be. You had to be. It was hard too because you couldn't. That's why the Batman Begins Bruce Wayne is perfect. I mean, he just had to be, not over the top to get attention, but yeah, it had to be seem weak and seem as nobody would give a shit. Um, so that was yeah, it was hard, but yeah, walking around in bat costume and all that. I don't know how that design came about or anything. I don't know. It just doesn't matter. But I think it was around the 20s when it started. 20 years old, and obviously do training and everything. And yeah, whatever it was, martial arts, whatever. Yeah, just and yeah, but the idea was to scare the shit out of everybody, the villains. Yeah, scare the crap out of the because nobody knew what you were, and you were kind of supernatural already. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm still clearing a lot of that. It's I know it's not. I mean, I was really reluctant to make this. Like, what am I talking about? I've already talked about it before. Not here. I mean, you talk about aliens, talk about spirit guides. I talk about another version of Earth being Batman. It's like you got me freaking out of your mind. And then Superman too. Some version of it. Not exactly called Superman, but it was called something. Even Batman, I think Batman was even called Batman, might call it something else too. Doesn't really matter. Just you have the idea of it. Yeah, there's all the different versions of Earth. It doesn't mean they're all called Batman. They're all called whatever they want to call them. But the costume is pretty much the same. And they have early ones, like I've seen the early comics, the versions of it as it figures it out. But like I said, all has to do with the city. It had to do with all the crime there, and something had to be done about it. So you're kind of like an archangel reincarnated to, in human form. That's basically the way to go about it. So it wasn't trying to be a hero of the people, just to help people find their own power. So that's why other characters had dressed up too. The good guys did too. Inspired others to wear a Halloween costume basically. Yeah, it's in that world it made sense, and people were kind of it was meta human, right? It is, yeah, meta human. They're a little bit more. You're not just human. You're a little bit extra. Yeah, if you're flying around buildings and all that, it's like grappling hook. You gotta have something. think about a police commissioner talking to a guy wearing a bat costume. I mean, think about that. That's why when I saw that the recent Batman, the Batman, the movie, what was it, Dark Knight, it just isn't that Batman is kind of like the movie looks all right, then Batman shows up and screws everything up. It's like a shitty ass Batman. It's just can't talk right. Wear funny. His costume was kind of goofy. Just like a guy in a bat costume. Just it wasn't really intimidating. Just like it's like a goofball basically. I was a big Adam West while you're at it. But the '89 one was a little more intimidating, and that was pretty much the point of it. Just you don't speak a lot, and you're just in the shadows mostly. You might meet a commissioner on a building, possibly, maybe. But like I said, most people didn't believe it that it even existed, and seen as like a phantom being. It's like stay away from it, whatever it might be. You see the car driving through the city and feel like, oh shit, yeah. So, so that is about it. So, all right. Hopefully, it's helpful. Keep your sanity as possible. All right. Blessings.